Hello everyone, this is Peter with GoodyReader.com, and we have a comparison of two amazing Zenfones. Recently I've been really getting into Zenfones, both because a lot of companies are sending us them to review, and the Zenfone 3 Zoom, as you know my love for it, was so good I went out and bought one myself. This is the Zenfone 3 Zoom on the left, and on the right is the Zenfone Max Plus. We're going to look at primarily hardware in this video, so let's just kick it off. We'll start with the Zenfone 3 Zoom. You see you have a front-facing camera and an earpiece. On the bottom we have a single speaker, two Torx access ports to remove the battery and stuff, only if you're super technically inclined, USB-C, 3.5mm headphone jack, and a SIM card tray on one side. Microphone up top, you have volume up and down, and your power button right there. On the back you have a pair of cameras, two separate lenses, warm flash, cold flash, focus sensor, and a fingerprint unlock or fingerprint scanner. The device is made very well. It's all aluminum. It's a very nice looking phone. It's very thin, and for this thing to have a 5,000 milliamp battery, this is incredibly thin, and this came out in mid 2017. This is a Zenfone Max Plus. I was gonna say Pro. What this one has is two separate lenses, but instead of a zoom lens, because this one is the zoom, the Plus offers a regular lens and a wide-angle lens. You have a flash here, you have a fingerprint scanner there, a SIM card tray on the side as well, front-facing camera, and an earpiece. 3.5mm headphone jack has been relocated at the top. You are not running stereo speakers. There's only one speaker. This is a mic underneath. You have micro USB, not USB-C. Same power button, front and up and down, volume and fingerprint scanner on the back. We're going to do a point system here to see who wins. So far, we're looking at the SIM tray. Now, the Max Plus has a triple slotted SIM tray, meaning there's room for two SIM cards and an SD card, you can see right there. Whereas on the Zoom, you do have a triple slot as well. You have two SIMs or a SIM and an SD. You can't occupy all three because this actually shares with either a SIM card or an SD card. So in that respect, the Max Plus gets a point. A point for the Zenfone 3 Zoom. It is a little more wide and spread out, as you can see here, stacking these guys on top of each other. The Zoom is actually a couple, probably 3 or 4 millimeters wider, but because of that, you get a thinner build quality over all the Zooms on the left. But because this is rocking a 5,000 milliamp battery, one of the biggest on the North American market, if not the biggest on the North American market, this definitely gets a point. The Zenfone Max Plus only has a 4100, which is respectable, of course. We have a white screen here just to show you guys the screen. So a point for the Zenfone Max Plus for screen to body ratio. So what they're boasting this as is it is a 5.7 inch screen in a 5.2 inch body. So if we slide these like that, you can see that even though this is 5.7 inch and the Zoom is 5.5, this is actually a much smaller device because of the bezels. The bezels are huge on the Zenfone 3 Zoom. However, it's kind of a cheap way to do it because on the Max, you can see that you don't have a back, home, and multitask button on the bezel itself. You have to swipe up to find this, and it does go away to thus, it actually does give you more screen. However, if you lock it, you end up basically, if you press the button right here, to lock it, you're actually decreasing the overall size of your screen down to about there. So although it is technically 5.7, real usable space, it's about the same, but this does fit better in your hand. But screen to body ratio, point for the Zenfone Max Plus. So from what I saw, they're quite different actually. The way that they display their images is so different because the Zenfone Max Plus is much longer of a screen and super narrow, where this is really wide and pancakey, kind of tablet-like. The colors are also a lot more vivid on the Zoom than they are the Max Plus. I did find the audio a little bit louder on the Plus, but I'm gonna have to say the overall audio quality is gonna go, audio video quality I'll say, is a point in the corner of the Zoom. Another point in the corner of the Zoom. Regardless of the fact that this is an older device, came out before the Plus, it is running USB-C, whereas the new, more recent Zenfone Max Plus is running a micro USB. So both of these phones have two cameras. So you can see right here that I'm gonna block the bottom camera with my finger and nothing gets really blocked, is because it's using the top lens. If I click this button and actually go into the zoom, you see I'm blocking the lens. I do like that they have two lenses on the Zenfone 3 Zoom, the one I'm holding right now, but I don't really care too much for the zoom lens. I would rather have had the wide angle lens that the Max Plus has, but they both have this Pro mode, and Pro mode is really cool because you have complete choices over degrees of Kelvin for white balance, exposure, ISO, even shutter speed. So I'm now holding the Max Plus, and again we have Pro mode, which allows you to go through different degrees of Kelvin and exposure, ISO, all that stuff. So we can go auto mode and Pro mode. Again, I'm gonna block right here just the bottom camera, and when I switch to wide angle, you'll see that my finger is blocking it. Look how wide that is. I'm no more than, say, 2 inches off of the other camera that I'm pointing at, the other phone, and look how super wide that is. And again, look at the screen real estate I have here. I am much more partial. Personally, I really like the wide angle lens a lot more than the zoom, because I find myself I would be taking wider photos than I would be zooming in on things. So both for screen real estate quality and my personal preference, I would have to give the camera to the Max Plus. So I own the Zenfone 3 Zoom, so I'm biased as hell, but I'm gonna give it the win. The reasons being what we showed in this video. The score doesn't lie, although I made the rules. What do you guys think? If I'm completely off base, if I'm missing something, if I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, you think, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this comparison between these two amazing alternative phones. You don't always have to buy an S9, people. It's not only iPhone 10 and S9, okay? There are other options out there. For GoodieReader.com, this is Peter.